Again?
I said, what's vexing you, Rasta?
Oh, it's just work, man. It's a lot of changes at work. I don't, the general issues are I don't get enough help really, and there's a lot on me, and I don't feel like I get enough help. And if things go wrong, which they probably will in some variety, because things never go right when you're changing things, and like near enough all of our products are having to change and be reformulated. So I've been forced into this reformulation across all our products, and yeah, I kind of got to do it myself. And if it doesn't go smoothly, and it'll just be my neck on the line. And it's like my work's often it feels thankless. So if I do well at it, then I don't feel like people. It's like I only really get noticed if things start going wrong. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I do my job well, and stop something from becoming a problem. Yeah, who the fuck knows, right? It's only when it becomes a problem, when things start going wrong, and then it's like, oh well, then
why
you
haven't
become
you done your
visible.
job properly?
So it feels like quite a thankless job quite a lot of the time, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but quite a lot of. I don't feel like I get paid enough for the amount of stress I get put under, but I guess a lot of people probably feel the same. But I certainly feel that. So, but equally, if I had like a more, if I had a job where there wasn't any sort of stresses, it probably wouldn't keep me interested enough to stick it. You know what I mean? It's like I need something there to.
I actually think I perform best under stress. Weirdly, but I think it's the long term stress that's the when you're expecting you go into work expecting to be stressed. I think that's when it's bad, really. But when I'm in a stressful situation, I do kind of shine a little bit. I'm not really thinking. I'm just getting on. I quite enjoy that.
You're quite a calm person, so I'm much more on the neurotic side of things, where if there's anything that's not quite right, I find it quite, so for me, I'm not the sort of person who's like, I'm calm under pressure, I perform best under pressure. When things aren't right, I start to get, quite antsy until I can.
Yeah, you get a few people like that where I work, because we never know who we've got, what service users we've got, and obviously some are better than others. And some people that come to work for us, they just torture themselves over that fact. And I just think it's irrelevant, really. I get who I get, but that's just get on with it, because there's no point fucking about. But some people, they just torture themselves. And there's one lad who I found out he was having a sniff of coke every time.
Oh
And I was just like,
well, that's like
help your anxiety.
No, on the contrary. Honestly, I can't imagine, doing something like that and then going and dealing with autistic people. It seems like
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think it becomes at that point it's addiction, isn't it? So he's feeding his addiction because he has to. It's not that he, it's not like it's a good choice of time. It's just that it needs to be done. So yeah, is that the one that was? I seem to think, it was a bit of gravy train for another one of our friends. So.
Oh no, that was a different lad. No, he was amazing. I'm not sure if they didn't find him on with. Let me see. Have I got to? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so pop that in general. That's what I'm on with.
That's fucking awesome. Who's that guy? Is that Nicodemus or?
That is Nicodem. He's a well, it's Nicodem as an avatar. So he's being carried around by. So yeah, it's just the resurrectionist's avatar basically, and 5 zombies and Mortimer, who was his henchman. But all of those things I can use. Whereas, like, I'm not bothered about Nicodem because he's Dead Man's Hand. But the avatar of him is cool as fuck. It's
Yeah,
like
that's a fucking awesome little awesome setup there, isn't it?
yeah. Looking forward to that. And what else have I done? Some of these as well.
Hello.
Hello, Dave.
Sorry, I'm late. I've been waiting for my laptop to stop being a cunt.
You're not that late, Dave, are you?
Well, I'm earlier than Yellow Johnny, and we'll probably get Green Johnny first anyway, so...
Yeah. So there you go. Oh.
How are you both?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dave. What about you, mate?
Too bad.
Yeah, alright. Not bad at all.
Oh, my dad's home. My dad's out of hospital now, so he's back home.
Oh, good.
So that's good news. And he seems to be managing.
Finding life without his leg.
Well, I imagine a hell of a lot more inconvenient, but he wasn't in the best place before he lost his leg anyway. He still wasn't. I mean, his leg had been griefing him for quite some time, so even when he had it, it wasn't that he could. He was still in his chair an awful lot, so. But yeah, I mean, he seems to be managing all right. Seems in decent spirits, so. And you got to have a chippy tea at the weekend, which.
Oh, well, then there you go, then.
That goes a long way.
I know how you like a good, dark humour, Al, so I'm going to tell you a little story now. There's a guy at work, I've known him years, he's the union rep, and about a year ago, he's a big lad, to put it bluntly. He's not in the best of health. He fell asleep with his feet in one of those, those foot spas you can buy where it's like vibrating and heating and massage and everything, full of water, and they soothe your feet. He has painful feet, so he bought one of them. He fell asleep for 8 hours with his feet in one of these. And when he woke up, one of his feet had started to rot, basically. Now, it turns out it's part of an underlying condition, but, the soaking and the softening of the skin exposed the problem with his foot. And an abscess formed. And he had to go into hospital for surgery. So they performed surgery on him. I'm starting to laugh already. I'm sorry. Performed surgery on him, and he's been
comedy gold. He's got a rotting foot.
No, trust me, you'll like this. He's been left with a permanent hole in his foot, which they don't think will ever heal properly. So he has to regularly have it, packed and dressed with gauze and stuff like that. So he's got this hole in his foot. Huh? Also, he's diabetic. And as a result of his diabetes, he's had one of his toes amputated off the same foot, and now his nickname at work is Monster Munch.
That's good, man.
Yeah, it's incredible. I know. When I heard it, I was fucking crying.
No way that doesn't. Yeah, that's like a brand. They've just branded him Monster Munch. There's no getting getting rid of a brand, is there? So.
No, I was honestly crying. Someone told me over the phone, and we had our plant manager and a visitor in the room while I was on the phone, and someone told me this, and I was crying with laughter on the phone.
Oh, they're a harsh lot of the works, aren't they?
They're fucking unreal. There's no sympathy at all. It's brutal.
No. Yeah. It's very similar where I work. I don't know, either they've not thought up a nickname or I just don't know it, which is probably more likely.
Yeah.
So they've tried a few ones with me. I fucked up some like dye at work the other month. So I dyed something green when it should have been red, which is quite a serious fuck up. And so someone tried to label me Darius, who sung the song Colorblind, which I'd never, but I didn't even get it. He tried to label me that, and it didn't seem to work. He tried it a few times.
It's a good one, though.
But no, I seem to think that if they did have one for me, I'm sure they would have let me know, because it's kind of, that's part of the joy if you've got an awful nickname, is to actually to let them know. The guy I work with, the lab guy, his nickname is Wurzel, and that has stuck. So after Wurzel Gummidge, and I don't know why, but so there's this guy who does seem to label people. with nicknames. So I don't know either. They haven't got one of me, which surprises me because I'm not especially popular at work. So I'm surprised. Either that or they've got something that's so horrid that they
it's
want
probably
to
horrible. Then,
yeah. I think that's more likely. But like I say, I'm not especially popular at work, so because I have to put myself in direct opposition to the operators a lot of the time. So, which doesn't make you very popular.
Our operations manager, I've worked with him for years. His nickname is Scratch.
Hold on.
And the reason for that is because when he first started about 15 years ago, he started at a time when he had cramps.
Hold on a sec, Dave. Sorry to. How do I see? Well, where do I see who's in this? I'm sure Johnny's already in this chat. But where do I see who's in the server?
At the top,
how can I see
it should say participants.
Participants.
No, wait, hang on. Click on the text.
Johnny C offline.
It's after a.
Yeah, green Johnny's in here, but yellow Johnny isn't.
Okay, that's what it is.
Green Johnny.
We don't want yellow Johnny.
No, they smell of
sounds like
not ecologically sound, is it?
Talking through. Hey, Hayden. He sounds like he's talking through a.
Fuck off.
It sounds like he's talking through a. I don't know. I need.
Man's anus.
No, that's not true.
That's just been terrible to start the game with. I love you, Alan.
Oh, hi, buddy. Oh, sorry, we've been terrible. I didn't notice.
Oh, yeah, good. Good.
Green Johnny. Green Johnny is welcome.
Green Johnny, hanging off your ceiling. Green Johnny, moldy with feeling. Yeah.
How we doing, buddy? You alright? How's life treating?
Amazing.
Yeah. Green. Oh no. Green Johnny is dead for the minute.
Yeah, I am.
I feel bad.
Living my best life.
Good stuff. Glad to hear that, man. I'm going to invite Yellow Johnny.
Oh God! But he's an arsehole. We hate him.
No issues from Aidenator here.
Good.
Aidenator has a good life. Happy feelings. Makes life good around him. I can feel good around wherever I go. Yeah, my life is good.
Stuff. Glad to hear that.
Also, on the plus side, it is really nice tree work, which I can yes, I've done a good job there. Just recently, I don't always feel like that.
Sometimes you just go through the motions.
Yeah. I'm on a bit of a pause at the moment. I've abbreviated positive there. So.
Welcome, Yellow Johnny.
Hello.
Oh God, it's Yellow Johnny.
I realised that I've positioned it terribly at some point and broke the screen. So. Me and Tech don't mix, man.
Yeah.
It's like the gods want me to live in a cave.
It's
with weapons and fire. That's all they want.
Code, Johnny. Oh no.
That's all they want from me.
I love. Welcome, Technomancer.
Yeah, Technomancer. They want me to be a troglodyte.
Technomixer for those demon beats.
Basically, yeah. That's what it is. Okay. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to living in darkness.
Living in darkness.
You know what I mean? It's,
living in darkness all my life.
No, it's not that bad. It's not bad. I sacked off that team leader cover because basically they weren't paying me for it. So I was just like, you know what, this is bullshit. I didn't say that. I was like, it's not for me. If you're not paying somebody to do a job, then I'm not going to do a job because it's a mountain more stress. You have to listen to everybody fucking moaning, and all I want to say is go fuck yourself, get a grip. If you don't like it, go to the fucking door, get another job. And that's what I want to say to people. It's like, you can moan all you like, but it's just, no, you can't. And you've got to bite your tongue. So when somebody's a fucking lazy bastard, you can't just say to them, they're a lazy fucking bastard. You know what I mean? You've got to be nice, or you've got to be like, can you please get off your phone, please? Or, and they look like it, and they look at you like you've got two heads, and it's like, you don't get paid. You know it's not. It's against company policy not to have a fucking phone on the shop floor, and yet you're being a blatant cunt on your phone when you're right next to me, when I'm wearing fucking orange. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know what?
Is orange the commanding colour?
That's that. Our place is, yeah.
That's why
I was like,
he's
you know
yellow,
what? I
Johnny.
don't get paid enough for this shit. I don't get paid enough for it. I don't get paid anything for this shit. So that's what it works out to. It equated to like £3.75 extra a day. And I was like,
that's just not worth it.
It's fucking not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. I said, I'd rather come into work, do my job, be really good at it, and get paid for that job, than come in, have to do every cunt else's job and that job as well for less money. Because by the time that you put into it, like having to come back from, like, sometimes you have to like miss your breaks, or like, you know, just different things crop up. You've always got to be fucking on it. And if you're not getting paid for it, it's like, well, what the fuck? You're making your life harder for no extra money. It's not worth it. So yeah, I said today, I was just like, no, it's not for me.
I think this is pretty much the labour market at the moment.
Yeah, it's not. It's they're just like, oh yeah, well, they want something. They want something for nothing, basically. The company wants something for nothing.
I think that's pretty much just sums up work today.
And the thing is, it's not sustainable, because most people will just say fuck you after a while, right? You know, it's like, you know, it's not worth it. I didn't say that. I was more diplomatic about it, but part of me was thinking fuck you, but that's the part I keep a lid on.
Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, basically, fuck you, pay me. You know, I mean, I'm not here to wipe management ass when I'm not getting paid to do it. You know, if you want me to run around like a motherfucker, you know, then pay me for it. You know, or give me a job on the custom maze or something like that.
£3.75 for extra stress like that, Johnny.
Yeah, it's not worth it, man.
I mean, like, but if we're not going to put you in the position and put you with an upgraded stat, there's no point in carrying on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I was just like, you know what, it's not for me. You know, and that's fair enough. I was like, no. Just, they got, basically what happened was that the team leader job went up on the board, but nobody told me that it was up on the board, so I didn't apply for it. And then somebody else got it. So I was just like, you know what? Thanks for the comms, guys. Thanks for the heads up. It would have been nice to apply for that, even if I hadn't got it, you know. But because they didn't tell me, I've sort of now we've got a new person in, and yeah, they've probably got more experience. They'll probably go do a good job, and that's fine. But I didn't even get a shot at it. So for me, that combined with the fact that they're paying me fuck all to cover basically wipe their asses while they, you know, train each other up and stuff like that. I was just like, no, it's not for me. Get me back on a truck. I'll be a decent picker, and I'll let you guys run around with your guns firing these people that are coming up, because that's what's coming at our place. It's just basically going from like family business to corporate. So it's going to be a question of like, you're not good enough, you need to get good, or you're gone, basically. And that's what it's getting to now, where we are. So, you know,
I'm the lonely man turning across.
Yeah, I've always like, you know, I've always been good at work. You know, I've always worked hard, and you know, I mean, it's not an issue for me. Like, it's an issue for all the other lazy cunts that we've been carrying for years now, because now they've been exposed. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing those people, you know, kick off and say, listen, you know, if they say stuff to me now because I'm in yellow, I'll just tell them to go fuck themselves. I'll be like, I'm not a team leader cover anymore, so that has to be nice to you. You know what I mean? Because I do actually think you're a lazy cunt. You know what I mean? And I can say that. And yeah, they might go, oh, complain. I'll be like, well, no, actually, if you want to make a complaint, I'm justified in saying this, because, like, look at your fucking statistics. You know what I mean? Your stats have always been shit. So technically, we have evidence to prove that you're a lazy cunt. You know what I mean? and you've got there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? It's there. It's fucking there in black and white. You do fuck all. You know what I mean?
Stats are below average.
And yeah, you are factually a lazy bastard. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, on a plus note, I made £420 before 1 o'clock today. Started at 9:20.
Honestly,
I mean
that really don't help.
Honestly, Hayden, I mean, that is a bit of a dick.
There's no need
dick
for that.
move. Just so you know, mate, it's a bit of a dick move.
No. To be honest,
the thing is, it's a dick move.
Right.
You know it's a dick move.
I'm only saying it because it doesn't often happen. It's not an everyday occurrence, but today it was an added bonus. So
okay, well, I'm just calling you out on your.
I know I am a dick.
Dickish behavior. On your dickish behavior.
I completely agree.
Good. As long as we're all on.
So, it's all right for me to mention, it's all right to mention small potatoes, like £3.
One thing you could do as well, Hayden, if you like, Hayden, just turn your camera on, get a wad your 20s and wave them in front of, your camera. You can do that and go, loads of money! You can do that maneuver as well. That's
do you want me to do that?
Yeah, do it.
Wad 20s in my pocket.
Yeah. Just wave them.
I'm not going to do that. I'm
wiping your tears with them. That's what you should do.
Here's a job you have to get paid what you're worth. You know what I mean? Like very few people do.
Well, I mean, it's terrible, but I mean, because I'm now my own boss, and I run a sort of like small ship, so I don't get too large and have all the overhead bullshit to start worrying about. I manage myself and contractors, and they make them or leave them for their own bosses. So it makes my life as a workman much easier because I don't have all that overhead bullshit to worry about apart from risk assessments. So yeah, it's.
But for the rest of us, we're there.
It is good. It is good. I do have that constant worry, the fact that am I going to get enough work, and I have to, like the other month I was pushing advertisement for a little bit, and it did have a few hits, to be honest. And then I get laxed again, and then I have to do it again. It's all you're always fishing for it. You're always fishing for it, but the payoff is just lifetime life scenario. It's amazing. I mean, like I'm so happy I did it. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Anyway,
we're all pleased to don't present some numbers like that.
Yeah, well, I'll say what. It's just when you smugly tell everyone how much money you've made in a day. It kind of detracts from the happiness we have from you, Hayden. Maybe I don't know. Like say if you got the wad your 20s and just waved them, that would like add to the maneuver, but. There's ways and means of saying, say, you know what I mean? So ways and means, especially when Johnny just say, you basically just slagging off his place.
I was being a dick. But also because I was really proud of what I've made today.
Yeah, well, I
wanted to tell some people.
It's that's good. It's just
I made a stand for personal happiness and job satisfaction. I said there's no job satisfaction in there. You're always chasing your house. And so basically I said I'd be happy just doing my job, coming in, being awesome at my job, and leaving at the end of the day and forgetting about it, which is what I was doing before. And I was happy doing that.
If you take on a management role, Johnny, you expect to see you should get your payment. You know what I mean? That's
you should, yeah. And if you don't, it's like you've got a question.
You've got the worst from both worlds there. You know what I mean? You just got
exactly.
What if I put out start making a gardening business and have Gardening Johnny to come round and I'll put you through your driving license? You'd be a manager of your own time.
I'm all right. I don't need no handouts. Proud man.
No, it wouldn't be. It'd be the only handout would be the same sort of handout I got in my life was the fact that you get a chance to make your own business.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as a handout. That's just a gift, isn't it?
Hand up.
Hand up. Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to work at it after you've got the opportunity. It's whether it's up to you.
This is the thing. I work extremely hard.
I know you do. That's why I say you'd be really good self-employed because you're all into it.
It's just having that initial capital to get started, which is something that's
I know. Luckily, my dad helped me buy my truck. and I've had to do everything else. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's just pushing yourself out there, really. But you could do it at home, making your armor and doing your painting, and there's loads of things you could. Me and you could probably set up a business doing armor smithing in our spare time and evenings. We did one night a week.
Probably could, yeah.
All right. How's that for an idea? How about me and you?
Yeah.
Do armor smithing on an evening.
The thing is, what we can do is like I've been drawing up some business like some painting stuff on the side. So it's not massive money, but it's just like a little bit more money, and it's just doing something I enjoy. So it's like I'm not doing it really for the money. I'll be doing it more for the experience, get my skills better painting, and then I can get to the stage where I can charge more if I want to. So I just that's what I want to do, is like a side earner type thing. But yeah, it's not really about the money for me. It's more about the sort of like if you put yourself forward for something, like I had to go through an interview process for it and everything like that, and I went up against like 900 people. I got it. You know what I mean? I got the top score for it and stuff as well. From what I was told in the interview, I got hired in an interview and all that stuff. And you go through that, and then you have to wait for 4 weeks to find out. And then you've got the job, but it's like the job. Nothing's been mentioned about pay or money or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, Johnny. I just think with all your artistic talent, there would be another avenue we could make money out of your soul.
Yeah. You can get a good price on a soul as well. They're
yeah. That's it. Anyway, shall we get back to the game?
It was an absolute bitch to get back, so I don't really want to sell it again.
They jack up the price, don't they?
I won't go into it, but that is a true story.
Oh dear.
So I'm not going to.
But guys, do you fancy some escapism instead, guys? Do you fancy a bit of escapism? Yeah. Escape the shitty world. Go into a different shitty world where
I'm pretty good.
Where you can vent employees out of airlocks. Please.
Let's go into a different world. Let's go into a different world where Johnny gets to work.
Work really hard all the time again, like
and tonight I'm going to go and visit my prostitute girl.
There you go. You know what I mean? It's an outlet, isn't it? Something to do. So, yeah.
And I drill sergeant Icamphians for good use.
Right. I'm gonna get some beer. I'm just gonna quickly grab a beer, but
it's Yes. Good.
Your funny smells like a granny and your head smells me.
Pardon me. Can we see your beautiful face, Ed?
Why do you want to see my beautiful face, Alan?
Well, it just... I like to see the anguish on your face when I say certain things.
I know you do.
I genuinely like to see people's face because I'm always trying to gauge people's reactions at certain times. So it is useful.
Yeah, I know. I like to hear the yearning in your voice while you ask me, though.
But yeah, it's especially good. I mean, I don't always get it at the time, but when I watch the game back, I love watching people's reactions to certain things, and I find it very, very interesting. Useful to see what's what things people are interested in, what they're not interested in,
what makes people
react to. Yeah, exactly. That's like half your job as a GM is trying to get people.
I wish I had time to put as much effort into David's my game.
You say that, but I toss it off over time, mate, and I haven't hardly done anything for this game, so.
It's not because we might have a game. You've made the prisons
we've never known that, I've told us.
I'm a lazy GM. I'm a lazy ass motherfucker. So I never do as much as I would like to. So
I do like the fact that you put the prison system on ship, but I like the way you do mass groups of people. How the way you phase over them and describe them, though, so you feel like you're there. The gun reloading scene, when he described that, I really like that. It sounds only mundane, but I liked where I was when I was at the gun reload and seeing Dave was getting accustomed to his role. And I also like Dave getting accustomed to his role and all that shit. Anyway, I'm talking too long. Let's go.
Okay, guys. Would you like to make a start, guys? So it's all good. I mean, we always like to have a natter when we get together, so I don't mind. And it also means that I haven't done that much prep. So the longer I can eke out this conversation before the game, the less content I have to worry about in my game. So,
when these games build themselves, it's okay.
That is true. I'm only teasing to a degree. So
all you do is put struggle acts and supports in between everybody else's story plots to do them for themselves.
Yeah, let everyone else do the work. So Dave, would you be so kind as to start us off for today's game, please?
Previously on Darkest.
Oh no, we've had like a retard robot. Sorry, Dave. I think your connection's a bit off today. You've gone a robot a couple of times. I don't know. I mean, I think he tried to do a retard start, and I don't know. Is it me or is it him? Cause I didn't catch all of that. Oh dear!
I didn't catch it all either.
I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's.
You started off like you went full retard, and then but then it kind of cut out.
Obviously, about Heresy.
You want to try it again, Dave? Try it again. Would you mind?
Previously.
Oh no. No, sorry, Dave. I think there's something with your connection, buddy. So I don't know if there's anything you can do.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Well, hopefully you can hear us all right. But yeah, I'm not catching all of what you're saying. So anyway, let's start off. Episode 47, the driest scone. It was day 11 after the orbital assault. In cell 54's chamber, Jefe Ortigas and Nick Davenport finished construction of a copper still with which to distill the moonshine mash. Jefe and Nixios discussed the heating of the still. His cousin had a heater unit that they had tried to use to make their own moonshine, but the engineers had cracked down upon it as soon as they had tried to draw excess energy from the ship. Cletus suggested using the looted promethium to run the still, but Nixios had another idea. He contacted Alexa and got her to reroute power to the cell off the books. Alexa drew the power from life support.
The way I like it.
Jefe offered Cletus some help with his enterprise. The Orpheans were keen to see moonshine production up and running. His cousin Rodriguez was a dab hand with moonshine. Perhaps he could join him with the operation. Cletus shot that shit down. He shot it right down. He knew how to make moonshine. He didn't need help. He wanted to keep this operation on the lowdown, and he wanted to keep control. He rejected Jefe abruptly, but the Orphean didn't seem to take offence. He had a happy-go-lucky nature. Instead, Jefe took a draw on his thin-rolled IO stick, crafted from Orphean shag. He shrugged his shoulders, and he left the offer on the table. Cell 53 brought their captive, Derek Schneider, back to their chambers. It was going to be a very bad day for Derek Schneider. Quintius led the interrogation. He tried to summon Alexa and an Auspex to support his endeavour, but Alexa was far too busy. She had more important work to do. Instead, she sent one of her staff to deliver the Auspex. Alexa was with Bodo, designing a high-tech, multi-purpose servitor construction facility.
Odo Shaggins.
Derek Schneider was hanging, hog-tied up from the shower, with the driest scone in his mouth, gagging him. Serious game, guys. Come on, keep it together. Quintius put his torture tools to one side. He pulled up a chair and he lit an IO stick. He offered one to Derek, who could not accept. Quintius laid the options out to Schneider. This could end in a number of ways. He could be given to the Fenrisian to play with, or perhaps to the shaman who could crush him with his mind. Or instead he could choose a quick death, a mercy, an end to pain. While he gave Schneider these options, Arnold took the scone from out of Derek's mouth, and surreally, he had a bite of it. It was the driest scone, and Arnold may have chipped a tooth. Quintius continued. If Schneider wouldn't talk to him and thought he could resist the intentions of Arnold or Jan, then he could be given to another. Quintius would be pained to give up his quarry to that man. But that man, he never failed to extract what he required using his pain amplifier. Schneider made one last plea for the Acolytes to pick the right side, to join a Spinebreaker, and turn against this ship of heretics. But his plea fell upon deaf ears. Cell 53 started to soften him up. Quintius broke and then lopped off one of Derek's fingers, and then left him to the tender care of Arnold Stormsinger. Arnold started by cauterizing his wound in his hand using his IO stick. Arnold didn't need to use his strength or his weapons to break Schneider. Instead, he used gravity and an array of scones. Schneider was hogtied and hung from the shower block. He was already in agony. Arnold only applied a little more pressure. He only needed to swing him and let gravity do the work. Arnold used the Butterfield scones to torment and degrade and torture his prey. Was this the first time? Was this the first?
Scone degradation.
Probably quite with the year.
We found Hayden's happy place. Oh, dearie me. Was this the first time in the ancient history of all humankind that a man had been tortured with scones? Perhaps. In the grim, dark future of the 41st millennium, there are only scones. Schneider refused to talk. He gave his name, rank, and serial number. The second phase of the interrogation would be much worse. Quintius went for stims to keep their subject awake, and Arnold continued his scone craft. Arnold Stormsinger, Crippler, Killer of Horse, Flayer, Berserker, Teasemaid, Oathbreaker, Torturer. No, Berserker no more. Berserker no longer, for Arnold had taken a different path. Jan and the others had changed that path. Jan went for the Book of Lies. It was overkill. Jan had spent a significant time making the demon axe Phobos and the Book of Lies safe, shielded within lead and protected by circles of runic binding. But then something had changed. Jan's path had changed. Perhaps the book could be used to his advantage. Jan took the book from containment. It felt greasy in his hands. Derek's eyes grew wide when he saw the book. Everyone at the interrogation sensed a bitter taste in the mouth. The book was evil. Derek was sure that Jan's soul was of the Emperor, that he walked the lawful path. His profile, his aura said as much. Quintius confessed that if Schneider would not take the quick death, then his eternal soul would be forfeit. Torture to the body was one thing, but to lose one's soul in the process? There was something in Jan's eyes. There was something in the cursed book. There was something in the tray of scones. Derek's will broke. It had taken only a few hours. The layering of abuse and torture was a form of artistry. Scones and gravity, the Book of Lies, and a few choice words were the undoing of Derek. He sang, he gave the names of his accomplices, he told of the plan as much as he knew. There was only one on board who knew everything, only one who knew the location of all the other cells. Schneider only knew his fellows in the gunnery section. He knew there were other cells. He assumed there were Spinebreaker's men amongst the stormtroopers, but there could be others. There must be others. He didn't know. The cells didn't know each other to prevent this whole conspiracy from being undone. There was a safety of sorts in ignorance. Only one man, Chief, coordinated everything. He or she had to be one of Lucius's top staff, one of his inner cohort, or one of his acolytes. Whoever it was had access to ship systems and had high-level clearance. Whoever it was had the means to contact the Holocaust and the means to coordinate people and intelligence. A mutiny was coming. There would be a signal from Spinebreaker. The cells had been sowing discord amongst the crew, and the ground was fertile. It was easy to sway opinion against the Inquisitor. Lucius invited it. Derek's cell intended to ensure that when the time came, the port macro cannons would be out of action. The Holocaust, with its superior maneuverability and cloaking, could use the blind spot in the ship's defences to pepper the void shields and allow the teleportation of the Space Marines on board.
Nope.
And once on board, they would be unstoppable. They would sever the head of the snake. Quintius thanked Schneider for his service. He knew that he spoke the truth. Quintius was a man of his word, and he put an end to Derek's suffering with a bullet to the brain. Mercy. Arnold compacted the man as best he could and transferred his corpse to the automated incinerators upon a trolley. Jeeves arrived later. He was glad to see his master again, and he informed him that Melissa had seemed angry with him. He also provided Arnold with a leather mask that he had sewn at his request. Jeeves was set to work. Derek Schneider had left a number of nasty stains upon the shower block floor. Later that night, Jagannatha arrived at the door and summoned the Acolytes to a meeting with the Inquisitor in his briefing room the next day. Lucius wanted an update on the Acolytes' progress and wanted to give them their objectives for the next phase in the campaign. Quintius couldn't help himself. He was riding high after his successful infiltration and interrogation. He goaded Jagannatha. Wasn't delivering messages beneath him? Jagannatha gave no reaction. His eyes were hidden behind the goggles set with dark green glass. Quintius knew. Quintius could tell. His barb had landed. "I serve the Inquisitor in whatever way he requires," said Jagannatha. "So do we all," said Quintius. "Was that everything?" He closed the door upon his rival. The next day, the Inquisitor listened to his acolyte's progress. He seemed pleased. They'd all stepped up beyond his expectations. And then he explained the next phase. Next, at Ridge Station, the acolytes would use the ship's reserves of thrown gelt to purchase assets, weapons, mercenaries, trade goods, and intelligence. And now, their campaign would truly begin. Okay guys, so we're going to start off. You're in the Inquisitor's briefing room, sat around the table. There's the Inquisitor there, flanked by two small servo skulls. Behind him, at his right hand, is Kiyoshi Kubo, who stands there, immobile like a statue, but always watching, always observing, ready to defend Inquisitor. Sorry? What was that?
I said ready to waste fate points.
Yes, ready to defend his master at a moment's notice. There are two Inquisitorial guards stood at the door. And then there are the four of you from Cell 53. And then there's also Nixios here from Cell 54. And he is also flanked by a small servo skull. And this is where we shall start today's game. Okay. So, Lucius, he looks immaculate as ever in his naval uniform, blue and gold. And he turns to Kiyoshi. And he says to Kiyoshi, "Kiyoshi, I have made my decision. I want you to speak with Mattis and Yuki. I want you to get each of them and yourself to take a squad of Inquisitorial Guard. And I want you to round up all the names on this list of Quintiuses. Have the Guard outfitted for crowd control, riot shields, shock batons, stun grenades. Round up the traitors. Put them into confinement. And inform Jagannatha. It seems that the Pyromancer will be having a busy few days." Kiyoshi, also have Nathaniel run these names through the cogitator. See if he can deduce any patterns, any clue as to how they were inserted upon this ship. Perhaps there's some information here that can help us uncover other traitors in other sections of the ship. And he looks at Kiyoshi, seemingly waiting for something. You're muted, buddy. As Kiyoshi talks in sign, one syllable, two syllables. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting, buddy.
Sorry, I got massive lag on everything I do. So I pressed unmute about 3 minutes ago and it's just unmuted me. Kiyoshi says, "As you command, Inquisitor."
Thanks, Dave. So, Kiyoshi, it was worth the wait. Kiyoshi heads off, and the Inquisitor no longer has his bodyguard here. Arnold, can I tempt you onto the camera, sir? Can I coax you? See, now I miss your reaction to that intro. Is he even there? Can I hear him? Can anyone else hear him?
I can't hear him.
He's bagging off, hasn't he? There we go. Now he's coming round. Hey, buddy. But yeah, I missed your reaction. I missed your giggling fit. You know, I wish that had been caught on camera. That was a proper fucking evil laugh for the record. Like, evil. Like, that's. I can't hear you, mate. Are you?
You're muted. I can't hear him either.
I
can hear you now. That's it. Groovy. So, Lucius dismisses his bodyguard and gets him to take him and some other of his staff to take squads of guard to round up the traitors that Quintius has uncovered. And then he turns back to the rest of you acolytes. And he says, now, acolytes, I want to draw your attention to the next phase of this campaign. Your mission objectives are as follows. You are to lead an expedition to Ridge Station, and you are to acquire assets for this upcoming campaign. There will be many options available to you, and there'll be more to buy on Ridge Station than you can possibly afford, especially given the dire state of our finances. Choose wisely the expenditure of thrown gelt, for it will shape the coming campaign. It is up to you whether you decide to spend all the thrones available, or to hold some of them back. And I say again, some of the decisions open to you will be optimal, and some will be wasteful. Some would be folly. So choose wisely. Now, Nixios, go on, sorry. Go on, jump in, mate.
Lucius, would it not be best to just make a station for ourselves, go in the guise of happiness, then entrap everybody into their business dealings as they do it, and take all the goods?
You mean to strike at the station itself and conquer it?
Yes, we would see the plausible point for funds and everything, my lord.
It's not to put a too fine a point on it, Arnold, but we do not have the strength. Space Station does not give credit to this this location. It's more of a star fortress, an ancient Xenos creation. It is heavily loaded with defensive weapons, and the ships that do trade around the stations will also lend to its defense. Now our ship is powerful, a powerful warship, but we have lost our primary weapons. Regrettably, they took some damage during passage through a meteorite storm. So we are not at full strength, and we must... Oh, sorry, so at the minute, hold on, Dave, so I can see you're trying to talk, but you're muted.
I just wanted one answer after this. I'm just waiting for them to finish.
No way. So I'll try and speak, and then I'll just try and pause it. So we've got. I know Dave's also having more trouble coming in because he's got a bit of lag. So
I think it's settling down.
Oh, fantastic. So Lucius says, so we haven't the strength. Our ship is a powerful warship, but we've lost our primary weapons, and we will need to marshal our forces for battle against the Butcher. I cannot risk a direct assault on Ridge Station.
I'm very sorry, Lucius. I was not aware. But
I encourage you all to step forward with your ideas, and it's only due to lack of experience of this particular locale that it would be a reasonable. I'm not against piracy in totality, and there may be weaker.
From a man of the water. Ship to ship, you take what you can move forward.
Inquisitor, you said that the primary weapons were lost during passage through a void shield, through an asteroid field. Is that correct?
Damage, yes, that is correct. We suffered quite a bit of damage to the hull and also to the primary weapons.
Sounds like somebody, if you'll excuse my Tarsian, fucked up there, Inquisitor. I assume they've been suitably punished?
Yes, I agree. Who could be so stupid to do that to us?
And Lucius steps. Lucius says, it's no mean feat to travel through an asteroid field without encumbering danger. Do not concern yourself over blame for this. There is no blame to be had apart from me.
Well, I assume it is quite a difficult task, Inquisitor. But if I was you, I wouldn't let whatever buffoon crashed a ship into an asteroid field. I wouldn't let them behind the wheel of this wonderful vessel again. They sound like a fucking liability. If you'll excuse my tarsing once more, Inquisitor. All right, James. Something you are, mate.
Seems that Nixios doesn't seem to be rising to the bait. And
I think Quintius does know who actually is responsible for it as well, doesn't he?
I believe so. I believe.
I think he does.
I think you. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to remember exactly who's heard what at what stage in the campaign. But I do.
I'm just going to add in. This was a boat. It would be sunk after all frozen to death.
I've got a note here in my notes, Alan, that Quintius does know it was Nixios. That's why I asked. That's why I said.
Yeah.
Quintius is turning into a troll, basically.
It's what my character would do.
Back out a psycho.
Doesn't know it's Nixios.
Okay, so Lucius then continues. He says, I must trust in your judgment here to spend the resources of the ship and put our campaign in good stead. Now, I know that, Nixios, you have rank here, but I would encourage you to not pull rank in this scenario. I would like you to take on board all of the opinions of your fellows here. It's important that you work together in these decisions.
Of course, sir.
Very good. Now, of great importance is the requirement for information. Let me bring your attention to this star map, and he presses some commands onto a data slate that's embedded into the table, and there's a holographic projector within the table itself that projects a map of the local star system, and it forms the center of the table now. And so I'm going to put you onto a new map in Roll20, and this is a map of the star system. Now at the bottom of the map is the path that you've taken. It's a white line, and it heads to the Orpheus system. Now there's another white line that's connecting it towards Ridge Station. Now you have taken quite a whereabouts route. You've been making lots of small jumps to try and throw off any pursuit. And I've also added onto here, there's some viable mining that Alexa discovered along the way, and then she promptly forgot about.
No, I remember. It's just we didn't have the machinery for it, basically.
No. To be honest, it's not really a mining vessel that you've got. You've got a warship and a rogue trader. But I've put it onto the map. So as you explore, I'll add other things onto this map. And Lucius says there are 4 sectors of interest deeper into the miasma itself. And these regions of space are centers of probability, vortexes where the paths of the future will become focused. Jagannatha, the navigator Ezra, and myself have determined that one of these places must be the next stage of our journey. We wish for you to discover what you can of each of these locations, and following your discoveries, you shall choose our path forward. You shall choose the next chapter in our campaign. Assuming, of course, that we survive the upcoming mutiny. And he allows himself a small smile.
Ha! Yes! Potential impending doom. Hilarious.
So I wish you to gather information about each of these 4 sectors, as well as spending the throne aboard the ship. These are your objectives, your primary objectives. Now, there is something else, of course. Cell 53. You must ready yourself for combat. Amongst you, only Arnold is truly ready. And Quintius, Alexa, you are ill prepared for the coming battle. Now, I understand that your talents lie elsewhere, but you must not become the weak link in your unit. You must prepare yourself for combat sooner rather than later.
Inquisitor, I must object. Jan is more than ready for combat. I've seen him crush people. With his mind.
Jan is undoubtedly a deadly asset. But could he
imagined a sword, and it was there.
Could he prepare himself more closely for the upcoming mutiny? I believe he could.
You're right. You're right, Inquisitor. He could prepare 2 swords.
But seriously, my comments are mainly directed towards you, Quintius, and you, Alexa.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I have been, trying to improve myself in that area, Inquisitor. It's just, I've had 3 fencing lessons my whole life. I'm not a career soldier or a gun runner or a man with a sword that comes out of his mind. But I do think I would benefit, Inquisitor, from some better weaponry, because I'm carrying a weapon that, quite frankly, is more of a piece of art than an actual killing tool. And I seem to have misplaced both my sword and my walking stick.
Nixios is going to pipe up and he's going to say, what about the lingering Xenos weaponry that we still have from the Deldar?
And Lucius says that's a fine idea. Although some of it may be more difficult to handle, Quintius may be better suited to something he's a bit more familiar with. But I shall, and he hands over a credit chip. It's 1,000 credits of armory credit specifically. And I think most of you have been paid. Quintius, I don't know if you know.
No, I don't.
Out of character. I think you're aware that you have been paid and that your wages are with what's her name?
Laura,
that's the one. Thank you. So so he hands over the credit chip to Nixios and says, "Please spend this money between the 5 of you in a way that you see fit. You may also find I'm sure there is something of a black market on board the ship. You may also find useful. But please do not neglect my warning here."
Well, of course, Inquisitor, I always listen to advice. Well known for it, as a matter of fact. I have been training a little in the gymnasium with Arnold here, haven't I, old buddy, old pal?
Yeah. Look, he looks stronger.
He kicked my ass, Inquisitor, repeatedly.
It's hold on a sec. Is Hayden speaking and no one can hear him, or is Hayden speaking and I can't hear him?
Hello.
Just give me a sec then. Sorry, Hayden. Hi, buddy. I get this recurring bug. It's probably that malware from Kiss Anime that
yeah.
But do you want to?
I can't see Johnny.
Can't see Johnny, but I heard him a little.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm using my phone for Roll20 as well, so I was just setting up Roll20 on my phone.
No worries, buddy. No worries.
We'll do for now.
Hayden, if you've said anything recently, I probably haven't caught it, so if you wouldn't mind repeating yourself.
I said yes, yeah. Did pretty well, consider this puny runt.
Lucius, he looks at Quintius and he says, "I can tell that you're not the same man that we brought on board this ship. You are definitely a greater threat in that area than you were before."
I don't know about threat, but yes, I have been working rather hard to improve myself.
The other threat is a sexual predator.
Now that is true. Lock up your wives and daughters. I mean, obviously, if they're overage, if they're underage, you don't have to lock them up there because there's no threat from me. I'll shut up.
Quintius, sorry, Lucius does allow himself a small smile.
That sounded even worse. I'm glad you didn't lock them up,
Yes, Quintius, please get something more effective than that pea shooter that you are currently using.
As a matter of fact, Inquisitor, I now have 3 pea shooters. Thank you very much.
I could weld them together for you.
Oh, that sounds marvellous. I'm just going to start waving the various pistols I've looted. Look at them. This one's got a little bit of rust just here, but this one's got a little bit of rust just here. They're both pretty shit. I'm just going to start spinning them around like a cowboy.
Impressive.
It's not. I'm really clumsy. It's a good job they're not loaded. You hear the triggers click multiple times.
If you're able to juggle 3 pistols at the same time, that more than compensates for the fact that they're shit.
That's my rank 9 perk, Johnny. I'm going to be able to juggle pistols while shooting enemies. Yeah.
Lucius looks at you, Alexa, and he says, Alexa, there are some scenarios that you can't craft your way out